What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fabulous day. You guys have made it just in the nick of crime. Now, this is my second day in a row doing something like this, doing one of these shows. I'm going to be trying to do them more because I think they're important, and it makes the YouTube gods happy. It makes the Instagram gods happy, as well as Facebook. And I'm not posting on TikTok right now, so I have a little bit more time to do this. Now, that being said, what we're going to be talking about today is Diddy. And don't roll your eyes and be like, this is the same old stuff we've heard. No, this is all new because the trial's over. The sentencing's over. But a whole new Diddy saga is just beginning, right? Now, before we get into everything, just a couple quick housekeeping items, I guess, if you will. First of all, if you are coming in, following, or watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are, please hit that follow button or subscribe. Subscribe is free on YouTube. I am trying diligently to grow my YouTube following to 100,000. I'm at 55,500, I think, maybe 600, whatever. So please follow me on YouTube no matter where you're watching. And if you come in later, you can't stay for the whole time, although this is going to be a pretty short show. You can always catch the recap later on YouTube. It's up there as we speak. You can start from the very beginning. Now, the other couple things that I will share with you real quick before we get started is I want to give you guys an update on the new podcast I'm working on. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain very, very quickly. So I have been batch recording a bunch of episodes for a podcast called Unheard True Crime in Their Own Words. And so in this podcast, we have people, whether they're victims, family members of the victims, media personalities, the perpetrators themselves, people who could have shaped the narrative and the story. And I will tell you some of the people that we've already recorded with and who we're looking at recording with. I recorded already with Daryl Scott, who is the father of Rachel Scott, the very first Columbine victim. We recorded already with Joe Exotic. We've recorded with what the heck's John Michael Jones and Billy Mintz. That was the one. Who Billy was responsible for the show on Peacock, where the documentary Making Manson, and John Michael Jones was Charles Manson's pen pal for years. I'm going to be recording with George Floyd's uncle on Friday. I'm working on speaking to a person who was a former capo in the Colombo family mafia. We're kind of just finalizing that. And I'm also going to be reaching out or having a conversation with Talia Shakur tomorrow about getting Tupac's brother Mopreme on the show. So they got some really great things kind of coming up. And so the reason it has not launched yet is there's an issue with my producer and the platforms that she gets it out with. So as soon as we have more information on that, of course, I will let you guys know. Now, that being said, you guys want to hear about Diddy? Let's get into it. Of course, make sure to follow, right? Okay. So if you guys thought that this story ended when Diddy got sentenced, you need to buckle up, because in the days since, everything has gotten so much messier. We've got new filings, letters from prison, a request for a presidential pardon, new lawsuits, and even rumors of threats inside. The fall of Diddy has been a very hard one. This is a guy who went from being a global icon to a federal inmate, just like that. This is someone who's still trying to also run PR campaigns straight from jail, or now prison. So today we're going to walk through exactly what's happened since sentencing, the so-called height of hubris, as the prosecution called out, to his prison request, which we'll talk about in a second as well, the pardon talk, and what's still coming for him. All right. So before we do that, let's just step back a few days. What day is it? Hey, let's step back 5 days ago. Let's go back to October 3rd. Diddy walks into a court in New York for sentencing. He's 55 years old and he's facing up to 20 years. The jury had cleared him on racketeering and trafficking charges, but nailed him on 2 counts of transporting women for prostitution, which is the Mann Act charges. Prosecutors wanted 11 years. His lawyers, Mark Agnifilo, Tinny Garagos, Alexandra Shapiro, and Xavier Donaldson, asked for 14 months, which was basically time served. They painted him as a changed man, said that he's now sober. He's teaching classes in jail, mentoring inmates, writing letters to victims, but prosecutors weren't having it. Because here's the part that a lot of you guys might have missed. All right. And you may have heard part of this, but I'm going to tell you the whole thing. Speaking engagements. Right? You might have heard, oh, Diddy had a speaking engagement. He was so confident in his release that he had a speaking engagement. Well, that's partially true. He had lined up 7 speaking engagements for October. 7. Before he was even sentenced. And prosecution called it the height of hubris. They even filed a letter from Giovanni Soraya, who runs a reentry nonprofit. That letter said that Diddy had approval from correctional agencies to teach classes to inmates virtually and in person. So while prosecutors are saying that this man should be in prison, Diddy's out here scheduling seminars like he's headlining a self-help conference. Now, his lawyers tried to spin it, saying that these weren't speaking gigs, that they were teaching engagements, and that if he somehow got out, we needed something for him to do. But with the judge, that landed like a brick, because it sounded like he had already assumed he was walking free. So the judge, Arun Subramanian, gives it to him straight. He says that this whole operation went on because Diddy had the money and power to keep it going. Then he looks him dead in the eye and says, Jane Doe and Kat have been through trauma we couldn't imagine. You weren't just talking to the jury, you were talking to every woman who feels powerless. And then he drops the sentence. 50 months. Just over 4 years, 14 months into it already. And a $500,000 fine, which is really nothing for somebody like Diddy, who's got hundreds of millions of dollars. And 5 years of supervised release. Now, Diddy cried, legitimately, tears, everything. I don't know if he said he told the court that he was legitimately sorry and that he sees that hotel video every night. He called it an ugly scar that'll never heal. All right? But come on, y'all. 7 public appearances booked for before sentencing. That is not showing remorse. That is not showing humility. That is just pure delusion, hubris, and arrogance. Then 3 days later, after his sentencing, his lawyers file a motion asking that he serve, and you can't make this up. If you haven't heard this, you cannot make this up. Diddy wants to serve his hard time at FCI Fort Dix. He wants to do his time at Fort Dix. Joking aside from the name and the crimes that he's charged from, Fort Dix is in New Jersey. It is a low security, open campus, family visitation, full substance treatment program prison. They say that it is to address Diddy's substance abuse issues and facilitate rehabilitation. And if you know anything about Fort Dix, you know that it's basically white collar prison light. Like, you know that white collar prison's already light. This is even lighter. Guys play softball, take business courses, mentor programs. It's not Rikers. It's not Brooklyn MDC. And here's the twist that you guys might not have seen coming. And you might not know because I haven't even reported on this yet. I'm going to do it right now. Prosecutors did not oppose it. Okay? They did not oppose him serving his time there. They literally filed a note saying that they, quote, take no position, which in Bureau of Prison speak means go ahead, totally fine. So if that recommendation goes through, Diddy could move from one of the hardest federal detention centers in the country, which is MDC Brooklyn, where he's at now, to basically, club fed with fences. How does that make you guys feel? How does it make you feel? Now, well, all of this paperwork's flying, right? Mark Garagos, which is one of his lawyers. I mean, he wasn't on this prosecution team, did advise. His daughter is one of his lawyers, but he's a longtime client of Mark's. Starts telling outlets that Diddy's life is in danger behind bars, which I'm going to be honest. I really like Mark Garagos. He's a good lawyer, and he's very interesting, very entertaining, and I'm hoping to do an interview with him in the future on my new podcast. Nevertheless, Mark claims someone already tried to shank him, that he had been threatened with S assault, the irony there, right? And that he's a high-profile target. I'm going to repeat that again, though. He was threatened with S assault. Okay, so the Bureau of Prisons has not confirmed any of that, but you can see his strategy. Garagos is painting Diddy as a safety risk, setting the stage to push that Fort Dix request even harder. For Diddy's safety, he's a public figure. He's wealthy. He's a celebrity, right? I mean, think about the charges and everything. The celebrity, the power, the S crimes. Yeah, he's going to have a target on his back, 100%. Because somebody who's in there doing life, they don't care. They can take the notoriety of taking Diddy out. So you have to take it from protecting him. But regardless, the timing of the claim, it felt convenient because we're just now hearing about the claim. Then, out of nowhere, right, President Trump enters the chat. On October 8th, President Trump tells reporters in the Oval Office that Diddy has personally asked him for a presidential pardon. He literally said, quote, I can't do a Trump accent, guys, so I'm sorry. I can't mimic him, so you have to deal with it. I call him Puff Daddy. He's asked me for a pardon. This was 5 days 5 days after sentencing, before the appeal has even been filed, Diddy's already asking the one man who has the power to get him out now. The question is, though, do you think President Trump would actually do it? Now, Trump said it would be tough because of what Diddy said about him in the past. Remember, Diddy once said he didn't give an F about Trump and that white men like Trump need to be banished. So Trump's like, we're human. We don't like it when people say bad things about us. But President Trump's track record on pardons, that's kind of wild. It's kind of out there. It's a wild card. He's pardoned everyone from political allies to rappers to the Grizzlies. So if there's lobbying happening behind the scenes, I wouldn't rule it out just yet, especially with how many powerful people and power players have a stake in how this ends. And while all of this is happening, guys, while he's getting ready for prison, while appeals are in the process of being filed, while they're appealing to the President of the United States, while he's trying to get moved to Fort Dix and schedule all of these classes and everything else that's going on, he gets hit again. New lawsuits keep dropping. And if you guys have lost count, we are close to 70 civil lawsuits. It kind of feels like we have one every week, although it was quiet for a little while. But right before sentencing, 2 more hit. Like the night before sentencing, 2 more hit. And we know Tony Busby was waiting for that. The timing was perfectly executed. 2 more civil suits being dropped the night before sentencing. Now, one of those civil suits was from a woman named Lakeisha Ward. She says that she was assaulted at a pool party in 2018 after being forced to sign an NDA. Another was from a man named Joan Bledsoe, who said that Diddy gave him substances and assaulted him when he was only 18 back in 2009. Both of these were filed by attorney Tony Busby, who's already leading over 50 other cases against Diddy. He's turned it into a campaign. So now you've got women, men, former staffers, ex-artists, all saying the same things. Coercion, intimidation, and NDAs as weapons. People who don't even know each other have these same stories, showing that Diddy has the same MO every single time. Now, remember, this all started when Cassie settled her case for about $20 million. That single settlement opened the floodgates. Once people saw it was possible, everyone who'd been silenced started to speak. It's now becoming less about justice and more like a reckoning, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Now, let's take a moment, a breather, and talk about these lawsuits for a second, okay? Because he was now found guilty. First of all, they're going to keep him busy for a year. 70, he's got a lot to go through. It's going to be a lot in lawyers' fees, even if he doesn't settle out. In fact, frankly, for a lot of them, it will be cheaper for him to settle out. But given the fact that he was found guilty, even if not on all charges, even the one, gives these lawsuits so much more credibility when they go before a judge. And you have to remember, a civil lawsuit, first of all, does not carry jail time. Okay? So it doesn't matter how old the person was. It doesn't matter the manner in which the assault occurred. Doesn't matter if there were substances involved. There's not going to be criminal charges brought from this. Okay? There's just not. Civil suits are about money and information. And now, when they go before a judge, there's going to be a lot more credibility. They're going to keep him busy for a very long time. But let's talk about something else on how he got here, because did you know, and if you've been following me for this whole Diddy case, you probably know some of this. Did you know that Diddy could have avoided all of this he made one mistake? I mean, other than being a horrific human being that assaults people, he made one mistake, okay? And that was not settling with Cassie. So Cassie approaches him and says, hey, I've got this book that I'm going to put out. And you've really wronged me in the past. You wronged me for a very long time. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to purchase this book, purchase this information, settle with me, and we keep this between us. It stays quiet. She even called to follow up with Diddy's people. He didn't take it seriously. He never looked at it. Right? He didn't think anything of it. He's untouchable. So she said, fine. I'm not all talk. I'm going to do this. And she files the suit. And as you remember, 24 hours, bam, settled. Right? $20 million. That's what opened the floodgates. Had he settled with her when she first approached him, he would still be out there living his best life. Living his best life. Right? So how do you think Diddy's handling all of this? Well, the simple answer, not well. In his letter to the judge, he said, quote, "Because of my conduct, I have lost all my business. I have lost my career. I have destroyed my reputation." And I will say this. He said, because of my conduct. He took ownership for it. I got to give him something for that. Because he's not blaming, whether he means it or not. He's taking ownership to it in writing. And frankly, this is the first true statement that he's made in a long time. And think about it. Ciroc, gone. De Leon, gone. Revolt TV, gone. Sean John's dead. His music catalog's losing value fast. Diageo dumped him. Macy's cut ties. Even his private jet, Love Air, is listed for sale along with his $60 million mansion. I mean, they're not listed together, but they're listed both for sale. He says that he's teaching a business course to inmates now, which, let's be real, sounds like the setup for a joke. But the truth is, his empire collapsed overnight. Everything that he built on branding and bravado and reputation evaporated the second those courtroom doors closed. So here's what the current situation is right now, as of today, October 8th. He is still at MDC Brooklyn. Judge Sumeranian has not ruled out on the Fort Dix transfer yet. And for the record, even if he does rule out, it could still happen. But people don't expect him to rule out. Everybody expects that the Fort Dix transfer will happen. That is where things are at. So all that he better not go there. You got to get over that real quick because it sounds like he's going to be going there. All right. We can also tell you that appeals are coming 100%. They are already working on them as we speak. I would expect to see them probably in the next couple of weeks. Trump claims that Diddy personally asked for a pardon, and lawsuits are still multiplying. All while the majority of the public thinks that he got off easy, myself included. But people also need to realize that, at least as of now, his career and deals being gone is also a huge part of the punishment of this. This is a man, guys, that used to be a billionaire with a B, and now, while still he's worth in the 9-digit range, that money is dropping fast, and it's going to continue to do so. The bottom line, he is no longer untouchable. And let me go back to that before I say anything else, too. You got to think, too, somebody like Diddy, who's worth 400 million, 300 million, wherever he's at now. It's a lot of money. When we hear that kind of money, people like you and me, unless you have that kind of money and you're listening to this, you think like that is just an unfathomable amount of money to have. And it is. But you have to think about, number one, the lifestyle he lives, but more importantly than that, well, now he gets to live, 3 hots in a cot. But the people who suckle off the teat of Diddy, when you have somebody that is this famous, okay, or that's we'll say infamous now, this wealthy, there are always people with their hand out. All right. And he starts to lose those people as well. So I'm not saying this like I feel bad for him. I'm saying that there's different aspects to his wealth starting to be diminished and him not being able to make anything back for the most part while he's doing this. That's a part of the punishment too. Again, don't feel bad for him with that. But like I said, the bottom line, he's no longer untouchable. His image is gone. Silence is broken. And people keep coming out, week after week with additional lawsuits. Even if and when he walks free again, because he very likely will, the world he's walking back into doesn't want him. All right. I mean, think about this. The ally that came to his aid was Kanye. All right. But I think what's wild here is really what happened about this is that how fast, how quickly this all fell apart. A little over a year ago, this is a dude doing red carpet interviews, talking about empowerment, throwing parties in Miami and LA. And now he's writing apology letters and asking Donald Trump for mercy. It's like watching the curtain get ripped off an empire that was always built on fear, because let's face it, it was. So here's the question, and drop this in the comments. Is this actual remorse from Diddy, or is it more manipulation? Because from where I'm sitting, it feels like the same show, just a smaller stage. Either way you look at it, the story's not done. Quite the contrary, actually. We just have a new phase beginning, which is what I said at the beginning of this. I've been following and covering this case from day one. And if you have been doing this too, you know that I stay on top of this whole Diddy saga. You know that I am convinced that he is involved somehow with Tupac's death. It's going to be very hard to convince me otherwise. So I'm going to tell you that if you are new here, whether it's Insta, Facebook, YouTube, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe. If you're coming in on either of the other platforms outside of YouTube, this is live. This is being recorded live, so you can go back and watch the entire stream if you missed it, rewind it, whatever. Okay? Make sure your notification's on, because when the Bureau of Prisons decides that the Fort Dix move, or if Trump actually responds to that pardon request, I will be breaking it down right here in detail and information that you actually need to know and want to know. Now, again, I'm going to encourage everybody, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm really trying hard to grow this YouTube account. So if you are watching somewhere else and you don't mind, it's the same name, Just in the Nick of Crime. Go over there, drop it a follow / subscribe. It's the same thing, because I'm really going towards that 100,000 range. With Facebook, I've had 103 or maybe 104 now, I think. I'm going towards 150 as my next close goal, and then for Insta, we're going towards 1 million. I think we're at 106 or 661,000. So please, help me, support me. It's something free that you can do that's very easy. And I'm also going to be trying to do more live shows around this time, around that 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. 3 or 4 days a week, maybe more if I have time, to make this more of a consistent thing. Because as my friend Pascal from the Pascal Show has told me, that I need to put more effort into YouTube than just uploading shorts. So that's what we're trying to do. And at the same time, I can come on and be live on Insta. I can be live on Facebook, and that's phenomenal. And as a lot of y'all know, if you saw the show yesterday, I am not, for the time being, posting on TikTok because I have litigation pending against them. So that's a different story altogether. Now, that being said, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you listening to this. We will be back tomorrow very likely tomorrow with another breakdown around the same time. So make sure notifications are on. Make sure to follow, and we'll see you guys then. Bye, everyone.